When I came back, I knew I had to warn them. I couldn't keep it to myself. The things I saw, the cities that are going to fall. I can't just stay quiet. My name is Manuel Costa. I'm 52 years old. I've been an emergency medical technician at Hospital de Santa Maria in Lisbon for 25 years. 25 years watching people die. Heart attacks, accidents, overdoses, kids we couldn't save. I was an atheist, completely atheist. I believed in science, in protocols, in defibrillators. Everything else was just talk for weak people. Then my heart stopped. It was a normal afternoon in the ER. I was in the hallway when I felt the tightening, not in the patient, in me. My colleagues saw me go down. They did CPR right there on the hospital floor, the same place I spent 25 years saving other people. I was dead for 21 minutes. And while I was dead, Jesus showed me what's coming. When I died, it was like arriving home all at once. One moment, I was on the cold floor of that hallway with the smell of disinfectant. The next moment, I was standing in a place that doesn't exist in any human language. The floor was living crystal, with colors that human eyes can't see, solid like granite, but woven from light. My hands were the same cut on my right index finger from 3 weeks ago. But every bit of exhaustion I'd been carrying for 25 years was just gone, like it never existed. The air wasn't air, it was life. Every breath filled me with a peace so deep that my whole life back in Lisbon felt like a frantic, dusty dream, like none of it had been real. I saw mountains made of solid golden light, flowers the size of dining tables that noticed me and were glad I was there. And I knew, without anyone telling me, I was home, actually home, the place I was always supposed to be. Then I saw him. My soul recognized him before my eyes had time to process what they were seeing, not like the paintings in churches. He moved with a focused calm that made the crystal floor seem dim by comparison. His presence carried a weight of truth that made me want to apologize for every empty word I'd ever spoken. When he said my name, it didn't just hit my ears. It went through my bones, through everything. Manuel. I knew him the same way you know your own heartbeat, like we'd always been together, like I'd just forgotten for a while. He said, "You spent your life saving bodies. Now you're going to serve a different mission. One that will save lives in ways your career never could. I'm going to show you what's coming so you can warn my people. 7 cities need to be emptied before the dominoes start falling." And that whole landscape just dissolved. We were suspended in a void, looking down at North America like a living map. I could see the cities glowing, the highways like veins. But I could see more than that. I could see the spiritual health of places, the weight of the choices people had made. First Seattle, it looked so peaceful. The Space Needle, the evergreens, the blue water. But the ground started shaking, not a small tremor. The earth moved in waves like a carpet being shaken hard. The high-rises swayed until the glass exploded. The concrete gave way, not slowly, all at once. And Jesus said, "The judgment comes from the sea." The ocean pulled back miles, exposing the seafloor. I saw people walking out there taking pictures. They thought it was incredible, but a dark line appeared on the horizon, and it kept getting taller, a wall of dark water. When it hit, it erased everything. Cars, houses, a mother running uphill with a child in her arms. The water was faster. It's always faster. Jesus said, "Pride makes men build towers at the edge of my sea and call themselves safe. Tell my people to leave Seattle before the spring rains end. When the ground groans, it's too late." Los Angeles, I saw 3 separate earthquakes. The first one cracked foundations, and people ran into the streets, but went back inside that night, posting on social media that they'd survived. They trusted the system. The second one hit bigger. The fault ripped open and the 405 freeway collapsed. Bridges falling on cars, gas lines broke, and the whole sky turned orange with fire. But people still stayed, still waited for the government. The third one lasted minutes. The aqueducts that bring water to the LA desert snapped. In less than an hour, the biggest city on the West Coast was a desert again, with millions of thirsty people and fire everywhere and no water to put it out. I saw neighbors fighting over a single bottle, their faces twisted with a rage that was almost demonic. Jesus said, "A city that lives on stolen water and forgotten prayers becomes a cage. Don't wait for the second shake. When the first one hits, that's your warning. After that, the door closes. San Francisco. The Golden Gate looked like a little red toy from up there, but underneath the ground turned to liquid. Not metaphorically, literally liquid. Whole neighborhoods just sank. Houses, cars, people spiraling down like they were in quicksand. I saw a young couple in a high-rise looking at their phones when the floor started tilting. At first, they thought it was just another tremor. They weren't scared, just confused. Then the building started leaning, and I saw the exact moment in their eyes when they understood. The Bay Bridge snapped. The Golden Gate cables whipped through the air. The bridge bent and fell. Jesus said, they thought their technology would save them. But when the ground turns to water, the hills won't hide you. Flee, the New Madrid fault. As a paramedic who spent 25 years understanding how systems work, I knew exactly what I was looking at. Missouri, Tennessee, Kentucky, Arkansas, where it all comes together in the middle of the country. The whole region heaved, and the Mississippi stopped, and then ran backwards. The sound was like the earth cracking open. The ground turned to liquid for miles. Bridges dropped into the mud. Rail lines twisted. Pipelines exploded. East cut off from west. No trucks, no trains. Grocery store shelves went empty in hours, not days, hours. Jesus said, "Cross the river now while there's still a bridge. The land will split, and the heart of the nation will stop beating." New York. I saw the Atlantic rise. No storm, no warning. A silent surge like the ocean was just walking onto the land. The water crept into lower Manhattan, and I was pulled down into the subway tunnels. Rush hour, packed with people in their coats with their bags and their phones, and the water started coming in. First a trickle, then a stream, then a river. They went from complaining to screaming in seconds. The lights died, and in the dark, the water rose so fast there was nowhere to go. I saw the Statue of Liberty. The water reached her waist, then her shoulders, then her crown, and she went under. The Manhattan skyscrapers, with just their tops sticking out of the water like teeth rising from a dark lake. Jesus said, "The financial district will be a graveyard. A penthouse is just a grave with a view. Get out before summer. A life is worth more than a career." Houston. The Gulf floods came first. Then they hit the refineries. The chemicals mixed with the floodwater, and a spark set everything on fire. Fire on the water. 25 years in emergency medicine, and nothing prepared me to see fire floating on top of water. A lake of black and red fire spreading through residential neighborhoods, families on rooftops breathing poison, kids with burning eyes. The rain that finally came was black with soot. It fell on the children. Jesus said, "They worship the fuel. Now it consumes them." Move north and west, away from the coast, Chicago. From above it looked beautiful, but a dark shadow spread over it like a hand covering a candle. A heat wave that didn't stop for weeks. The power grid didn't hold. First one substation, then another. Domino effect. The whole city went dark. No AC, no refrigerators, no water pumps. 3 million people in a concrete furnace. The skyscrapers became vertical traps. I saw men in suits with hollow eyes fighting over a bucket of water. I saw my hospital, the windows like empty dark eyes. Jesus said, "They trusted the power grid and not me. Move to the high plains where the water comes from the earth and not from pipes." And then the visions jumped to another continent, Paris. I saw the Seine overflow, not like a normal winter flood. The river rose with a speed nobody expected. The Paris metro tunnels are centuries old, deeper than New York's, and they filled with water before most people realized what was happening. I saw Le Marais submerged. I saw the Louvre with water coming in through the ground floor windows and rising up the staircases where the artwork the whole world knows is kept. I saw Notre Dame surrounded by water on all sides, like an island. In the streets that weren't flooded, I saw barricades. I saw confrontations. I saw a city that always prided itself on order turning into something it didn't recognize. I saw people leaving on foot when the transportation stopped, not knowing where they were going, just knowing they had to go. Jesus said, "Paris thought its culture protected it, but water doesn't read history. Leave before the Seine decides the city belongs to it. Those who leave in time will make it through. Those who wait for one more confirmation will get trapped in the middle." Mexico City. I saw the enormous valley where the city sits, that basin surrounded by mountains on all sides. 22 million people. Mexico City was built on top of a dry lake bed. The soil behaves like jello when the earth shakes. The earthquake I saw shook the whole basin. I saw buildings sinking on one side while the other side was still standing. I saw the Angel of Independence monument twisting and falling. I saw the Zocalo covered in rubble. Then I saw Popocatépetl wake up, an eruption that covered the city in ash within hours. Black snow falling on 22 million people. Kids with pieces of cloth over their mouths trying to breathe. Fields covered in gray ash that killed everything it touched. Jesus said the city was built on sleeping water and next to a mountain that has been warning them for a long time. When the earth and the fire speak at the same time, there won't be time to grab anything. Leave while the volcano is still quiet. Bogota, Colombia. I saw Bogota up in the mountains, the green hills surrounding it, the neighborhoods built on the slopes because it was the cheapest land. I saw rains that didn't stop for weeks, the entire hillsides moving all at once. Mud, rock, trees, and everything that had been built there coming down at a speed that gave no chance. I saw people at their windows watching the mud coming down the hill above them. The only direction was down, and they couldn't get down fast enough. Whole neighborhoods disappeared in minutes under meters of mud. Jesus said, "They built on the hillsides because it was what they could afford. But the earth doesn't know poverty or wealth. It charges everyone the same way. Come down to the valleys while there's still time. When the rain lasts weeks without stopping, that's the warning. Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire. I had never thought about Abidjan in my entire life. It's not a place that comes up in conversations in Lisbon, but I saw it as clearly as I saw Seattle. I saw the coastal city, the beaches where families spend their Sundays, the port, which is one of the largest in West Africa, the neighborhoods that grew up along the sea over generations. And I saw the Atlantic advance. I saw the coastline disappearing right in front of people's eyes. Beaches that had existed for generations simply taken by the water, not all at once, little by little, meters every year, until houses that were 100 meters from the beach were inside the sea. I saw the port flooded. I saw the coastal neighborhoods submerged. I saw fishermen watching the sea that had fed them for decades swallowing their homes. That image broke my heart in a way the other cities hadn't. Maybe because in the ER, I also see the most vulnerable get hit first. Jesus said, "My people in Africa suffer in silence, but I see every family, every fisherman, every child playing on the beach for the last time, without knowing it's the last time. Tell them to move away from the coast. The Atlantic is growing, and Abidjan is in its path." After all the cities, he showed me what comes next. America and the world breaking down. Hungry, scared. The systems just stopped. No food in the stores, no money working the way it always did, no communications, and leaders appearing on every screen with calm voices, promising safety, promising food, promising normalcy. The solution they offer is a digital mark, a chip in the hand or forehead, to control health, location, access to food. To someone who's been hungry for days, it's going to look like salvation. But Jesus wept when he showed me that. In 25 years of emergency medicine, I never saw Jesus cry. But I saw it there, and the tears were real. He said, "That is the mark of the beast. Once you accept it, the light in your soul goes out forever. You'll never hear my voice again, even if you starve, even if your children cry with hunger. Don't accept it. What you lose cannot be recovered." I saw people lining up with relieved faces, and then their eyes went dead, like someone had switched off a light from the inside. Same bodies, but nothing essential was left in them. As a paramedic, I've seen many times the moment when a person goes, that last thing that leaves the eyes. I saw that happen to these people while they were still alive. I asked him, why would they accept it? He said, "Because they'll be desperate, Manuel, and desperate people trade their soul for a meal. That's why you have to tell them now, while they still have the ability to choose." Then he showed me the refuges. It was like a cool breeze after all that fire. Simple communities in the high plains, Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, the Dakotas. Families growing food, sharing. A woman who broke her bread in half and handed half to a neighbor she'd just met. Just broke it and gave it like it was the most natural thing in the world. When you have nothing, you share everything. That's when you're the richest. Children playing in the dirt without fear. The peace in those communities was the same peace I'd felt when I arrived at that place of crystal and light. Jesus said, "Gather the essentials, water and a way to purify it. Tools, seeds, medicine, my word. Abandon the systems of man and wait on me. Don't stockpile for yourself. Stockpile so you can give." I turned to him and said, "Please don't send me back. Let me stay. This peace, I don't want to go back to the shifts, to the smell of the hospital, to being the man who spent 25 years telling people God didn't exist." He put his hand on my shoulder, the warmest and safest touch I've ever felt. "Manuel, that's not your job. I'm sending you back with the truth. Now go." And then bam! I was slammed back into my body with a violence that completely contrasted with everything I'd experienced on the other side. The weight of the body, the chest pain, the cold floor of the hallway, the smell of disinfectant, the sound of the monitors. I heard Philippa, "He's back. We got him." The first thing I thought was, the hospital bill is going to be enormous. 25 years working here, and I still thought about the cost. That's just how the mind works. I lay there a long time with the defibrillator mark on my chest, trying to figure out what to do with everything I'd seen. I couldn't go back to work like nothing had happened. Jesus gave me the ultimate emergency mission. getting people out of the cities of death and into the places of life, not in an ambulance, with words. The 7 American cities are death traps. Paris is in the path of the Seine. Mexico City is caught between the volcano and liquefying soil. Bogota is below hillsides that are going to give way. Abidjan is losing its coastline to the Atlantic. The ground is going to move. The water is going to rise. The systems are going to fail everywhere, not just in America. But he showed me so you can get out before it happens. The door is open, but it's closing fast. I was the biggest skeptic in the world, a paramedic who spent 25 years looking at bodies and saying there was nothing on the other side. If it can happen to me, it can happen to anyone. He is real. Everything he showed me is real. Time is short. Pray the desperate kind of prayer, not the polite kind, the kind where you cry out. Prepare the essentials, not to save yourself alone, but so you have something to share. And share this with someone you love, even if they laugh. When the ground starts groaning in the Pacific Northwest, remember I tried to warn you. Don't ignore it.